Hey guys, it is pomegranate season, and so I wanted to come out here before it's too late and get a video in about my pomegranate trees I have out here. So I have two varieties. I got one here. Oh, sorry, I'm eating a cookie. It's Christmas cookies galore this time of year. But this tree here is a Parfianka. It's a 1.5 years old, and the tree back here is a Wonderful variety. Wonderful is the variety, not wonderful like wonderful. But if you look, here's how the tree tends to grow. It has kind of a bushy, natural bushy growth habit. So after 1.5 years, it'll kind of look about like this. And then that one back there is 3 years old that has all the fruit. And so let me get in here on this one and show you. The trunk on this one after 3 years. That's kind of typical. So when you prune these, you're really just pruning for shape because these are forgiving trees. And so if you wanted, you could pick one of these leaders here, and some people will cut off these low branches and try to just have one tree trunk and just make this look more like a tree than a bush. That's not what I'm doing here. This is that sounds like too much work, so I just let it grow kind of more the natural way. So if you look here, you can see beautiful color. Tree is obviously deciduous, and it's losing its leaves right now. And so I'm gonna have to get in here and harvest the rest of these. So if you've never had a pomegranate, I should say try one. You can usually buy these in the grocery store in the fall, and the ones in the grocery store are usually this Wonderful variety here, and they're really good, but they cost like $1 or $2. And so this tree is actually a very good return on investment, because I paid $25 for this tree at Home Depot, and I got about 50 fruit on it this year, which comes out to about $75. So it paid for itself 3 times over just in one season. So it's great for that, and I love the taste. They're healthy, they're good for you, all that stuff. I need something to, wash down this cookie later. maybe something a little healthier. So when you're planting these, if you decide you want one, you want to pick the hottest spot in your yard. And so sun rises over there, and it just gets sun all day long. And it's hot here. We get 110 almost every day over the summer. At least this last summer we did. It was brutally hot, and this tree had no problem with it. You can see it held on to most of its fruit. Yeah, so very easy tree to grow here. They're not particular. The cold here doesn't bother it. I should say these are hardy from zones 8 to 10. Now, I will say that one of the challenges, at least here in Arizona, where it's so hot, is that while these are ripening up in other parts of the world in October and November, here in October it's still over 100 degrees almost every day. And so they don't get that red pigment that you're looking for in these pomegranates until December. So you have to keep these on the tree for a while. Now if you come in here and you start eating these in October or November, the fruit will be delicious. It'll be sweet, but it's not going to have that red coloring yet, probably. So it needs some cool nights before that'll happen. And so that's one of the challenges here, at least in Arizona. It's probably unique to really hot climates like this. As far as pests go, there's really only 2 pests. You can see I have organza bags on most of them, and I do that to protect it from leaf-footed bugs and birds. Those are really the only 2 pests that we have. So this is a really, I can't say enough good things about it. As long as you're patient, you have to be very patient with these fruit ripening up, because you're going to be looking at these in October and they're going to be red, you know, and they look like they're ready, and some of them will start falling off the tree, and you can eat them, but they're just not going to have that delightful red coloring on the inside. And so the other thing is you have to be very sparing and consistent with watering. So once it starts, I'd say from September 1st on, you want to water these probably every 2 weeks, and depending on the age of the tree, but you know, for a 3-year-old tree like this, probably every 2 weeks, and then and just do it consistently. And if it rains, you have to take that into account on your watering schedule, because if you don't, they'll split. So I'll show you. If you're keeping these on the tree until December, a lot of them will start to split like that. And so that's really the only downside. Well, one other downside, and that's that getting to the seeds can be a bit of a challenge, because this isn't like an apple that you just kind of rub on your shirt and then start eating. It's kind of a process to get to the seeds. But I'll take a couple of these in and we'll crack them open and I'll show you what that's like. Let's see, what else? The tree will fruit potentially in the first year. So that's another great thing about this. This tree here is 1.5 years. The first year it did not fruit, but I planted it in the spring and it flowered, but no fruit. This tree I planted in the fall, and then the following spring, the first spring, it fruited. I got about probably just 2 or 3 the first year, probably 10 or 12 the second year, and then the third year is when these things really take off, and I got about 50. So that's what you can kind of expect if you plant these. Just get them in a sunny spot, get them in a warm spot, give them consistent water, be patient while the fruit's ripening, and these will treat you right, because they're just so easy. So I feed these on the regular feed schedule that I do with all my trees, which is just kind of 3 times a year, and they don't need more than that. You don't have to water much in the wintertime at all. So it's just a nice easy tree. I'll come in here, I'm going to have to prune some of these crossing branches that you see here and down there, so I'll take care of that, and that's going to be about it for pruning more crossing branches. And that's just part of the growth habit on this tree. I'll have to do the same with that one over there. You can see I probably should have thinned that tree out a little bit, because it's just weighted down pretty heavily. Let's see, what else can I tell you? Tree will grow to about 20 feet tall or so, something like that. I have some friends that have some of these that they've had in the ground for 10 years, and they're probably close to 20 feet. Well, I'll talk about the flavor and the fruit here in a second. I'm going to take some inside, cut them open, and I'll show you what they look like. Okay, so here we are inside. I'm going to cut this guy open. There's kind of a trick to doing this. If you kind of score around the top here, and then you just peel it off. Oh yeah, look at that. So if you look here, it's nice and deep red. And like I was saying out there, if you open this up in October or November, these are going to be white or maybe pink, and you'll be a little disappointed with the color. They still taste good, but so these look delicious. If it'll focus, there we go. All right. So taste on these, they're kind of tangy, like a little tart, a little bit sweet, a little bit of tart, and they have little seeds in them. And some people spit the seeds out. I just swallow them because they're not that bad. Taste, closest thing I can describe is maybe like a cranberry, like mild cranberry is the closest thing. But they are so good. This is probably my favorite fruit. To open these, if you look inside, it's kind of got like a spider you can kind of see. Just score an invisible line down the entire fruit on these areas. And then the fruit will open right up. And so that's the other downside of this fruit is, like I said, it's not like an apple or peach or something like that you just pop in your mouth. You have to do a little work to get these open, but if you do it like that, they just come right apart and you can pop them off and eat them. So that's the pomegranate. Like I said, this is a very easy tree to grow. The only thing is you just have to be patient with these things ripening up in Arizona. Other climates, I don't think that's as much of an issue, but here you got to wait until December before they start turning red. So go out and get yourself a pomegranate tree. Oh, one more thing. These seeds in here are a little bit, I don't know how to explain it, but some of the other varieties, like the Parfianka that I have, the seeds aren't as prominent, so they're a little bit softer than these. So if you don't like if you don't like that kind of texture with seeds, you may not enjoy the Wonderful, and you may want to look at some of the other varieties. So you have other soft-seeded varieties that might be more suitable. All right, thanks for watching.